when we went to the pastor, he didn't say we had to move out. He asked if we could live in separate rooms because we were already a family. And said you should probably get married sooner than later to make it right. So we did, but we talked to the kids and told them this was not right. And we probably shouldn't have lived together, but at the time I justified it with all my pain and healing, and now I can't justify it anymore. But anyway, so we were pure for that month, and it was the hardest month ever. But I really felt like God brought healing through that, and I think because of that, and because we're an example to our children, even though we didn't start out doing it the right way, we ended it the right way before we got married. And it's just hard because I still carry the shame from it sometimes, but I confessed it, and I'm not carrying the shame anymore, and I'm free. Because we have an awesome marriage, and I'm just so thankful. I had a situation in my life which, like I said, I'm not going to go into details about, but it left me pretty broken. Shattered, actually, to the point where, like I said, kind of ashamed to admit it, but I was even questioning God's existence, and I could never feel Him near me anymore. I felt like all of this stuff was just crumbling in my life, and I just kept praying, and I'm like, where are you? You're not here. How is it that I reach out and nothing changes? It just gets worse. And so there was points where I kind of went numb, if you will. I'd still even come to SOS, and I'd go to church, but honestly, there was no desire there because I didn't feel God. You know, deep down in my root, I was raised Christian, so deep down I knew there was a God, but everything in my head at that time was just telling me, you know, He's not here for you. You reach out, you pray, you have other people pray for you, and nothing changed. And it went on for quite a while. Like I said, ashamed to admit that because growing up as a Christian, you don't, in my book, you don't let yourself fall to the point where you question God's existence, right? Well, the point is, the miracle and little testimony that came from all of that brokenness was that one time I was at youth group, and I was just worshiping God, and I put out my hands like this, and I was just going along singing with the song, and all of a sudden I started to feel like a tingling in my hand, and it just kind of just started to increase, and I was like in my head, I'm like, wait a minute, is my nerve getting pinched in my elbow? Like, what is happening? And so I'm putting my hand down, and it kind of goes away a little bit, and then I put it back up, and again, the feeling increases, and I get that sensation, and then it just intensified where I would feel like there was just like a little weight in my hand. Like, do you guys just, you know those little weight balls that, you know, they sell for working out? So it literally felt like there was like a little weight ball just kind of hovering over my hand. So fast forward, this is still happening, you know, and to this day that feeling happens. But for me, I just had this little revelation, and I'm still learning what that actually means. But, you know, when I put out my hands in worship, or just if I'm driving and I'm praying and I put my hands out, I get the feeling that comes over my hands, and it, you know, it's, for me, after, you know, this happening for a long time, not knowing what it was, I just had a moment of clarity, and I was like, it's the presence of God. Like, you know, and initially when it was happening, I was thinking, like, okay, is it God, or is my arm losing its nerves, you know? But, and so with that being said, during that struggle that I was going through, my biggest complaint was, you are never here for me. Like, all I want to do is know that you're here. I want to feel your presence. I want to know that you're here, and you never are. And that went on for a really long time. And so to me, you know, when I lift out my hands in worship or in prayer, and I get that feeling, it's just a little touch of God showing me that I am here and I'm with you. And so I take it as a gift and cherish that because, you know, I feel the Lord's presence. And so with this little testimony, I just want to encourage you guys that if you have this thing that you're going through in your life where you're broken and you don't feel God's presence, just ask for it.
Back many years ago, I was in college. I had dated a boyfriend for about 3 years. he really did not treat me well, but I was desperate to get married, and so I was like, well, whatever, you know, we'll do. And so, but he broke up with me, which was really disappointing, because I was just like, I gotta hang on to him no matter what. But he broke up with me, and I was just devastated. I thought, I mean, I was like 19 or 20, and I thought my life was over, and I was never going to get married, and that was really, it seems very silly, but I was devastated, and his roommate knew that he had broken up with me, and so he came over to my door and was just saying, how are you doing, and I'm like, oh, I'm a mess, and, you know, a mess here, running all over the place, and he said, well, let me just sit with you for a while. I'm like, I don't really know this guy. And he's just sitting next to me, and he had his eyes closed. And I thought that was really odd. I'm like, are you asleep? What's happening? Because he was sitting up, so I was pretty sure he wasn't asleep because he wouldn't fall over. But so he's just with his eyes closed, and so finally I said, hello, you know, like that. Like, hello, and he goes, yes. And I'm like, oh, well, and I said, you know, like, are you sleeping or whatever? He said, no, I'm just talking to God. And this was mind-boggling to me. Like, I had grown up in a church that was, I call it a dead church now in hindsight, because I didn't know you could even have a relationship with God. All I knew is you just went and you sat still, and then you stood up for certain songs, and then you listened to a boring sermon, and then you had cookies afterwards. That's all I knew. No one ever told me you should accept Christ. No one said you should have a relationship with him. And so this guy sitting there with his eyes closed talking to God, and that was very mysterious to me. But he seemed so peaceful. Like, have you ever seen a believer who just seems peaceful? And he didn't have to preach at me. He didn't share the gospel with me. He didn't do anything except for just look so doggone peaceful. And I was intrigued. And so I said to him, tell me more about this, because I was like, this is really interesting. And he said, well, why don't you just come to church with me? I'm like, oh, no, because church to me was really boring. But I thought, oh, well, I'll try it. So I walked into this church, which doesn't exist here anymore in Bellingham, but it was kind of a holy roller church a little bit. It's called Calvary Temple back in the day. And these people seemed so happy. First of all, you walk in the door, they're like, howdy, this is very weird. They don't even have cookies yet, and we're already happy. This is amazing. And he seemed like just genuinely to me singing to God, not just standing up because it's hymn 463. You know, they were like singing praises to God, and they even had some of the songs memorized, and I was like, this is so interesting. And then they happened to have a crusade coming through town where there was this NFL player or something that was sharing the gospel. And so I went and I heard the gospel presented for the first time. I was like, could this be real? Could this be what I'm looking for? And so I remember walking back to the car that night. It's nighttime, it's dark. And all I did is I said to God, and I'm not saying that this is how God's going to answer you, but I just said, Lord, if, I didn't say Lord, I didn't know what I called him at the time, like, hello, person up there. If you're really who they say you are, I just need you to put your arm around me right now. It just seemed like really stupid. Like, who would even say that? Why did I say that? I have no idea. But I said, I just need you, because I wanted to be comforted. Like, I wanted like an arm around me. I didn't have this boyfriend anymore. I needed an arm around me. And I felt this hand settle on my shoulder. Enough so I, looked around like, who is that? But there was no one there. But I felt this hand just grab my shoulder in a really comforting way. And that was it. I was like, okay, that's good enough for me. And so I believe Maddie's story, God shows up in such marvelous ways for each one of us, right? That's how I came to accept Christ, and then I had one of these journeys where it's like, a little down, a little up, and hopefully it's been more like this. It just takes a few dips along the way, right? Anyone resonate with that? Yeah. So that's my story in a nutshell.